We're live.
All right. So thank you guys for coming here today. I'm Nathan and this is Jaya. We've going to go through some self-defense here today, and starting off, just want to kind of bring this. This is actually a creed that we have been taught in our systems, where it says, "I come to you with only karate, my empty hands. I have no weapons, but should I be forced to defend myself, my principles or my honor should be a matter of life or death, right or wrong. Here are my weapons, karate, my empty hands." And just kind of elaborate what that means is more so it's like we're coming in here not as an aggressor. We're always going to come in as somebody who's looking to defend themselves. We're not looking to hurt anybody. We're not looking for a fight. But you know, when there's occasions where you do get forced to defend yourself, and it comes down to a point of whether it could be life or death, right or wrong. It could be a matter of a big hospital bill that you want to avoid. So there's also the idea that we're human. We can make mistakes. So sometimes we may be on the wrong side of things. We try not to be, but it's just like kind of understanding that and basically saying, hey, look, if I'm pushed to the edge, I'm going to have to react. Just kind of a quick introduction for us. I've been doing it since 1999. I've done American Parker Kempo. I've also kind of dabbled with Capoeira, Shotokan. I've done some stuff with Krav Maga too. Jaya has also been involved since 2004. She's been in the American Parker Kempo, but Jeff Speakman's version, which is a Jeff Speakman 5.0. Involves a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kind of influenced it. We're looking, we've been teaching, I've been teaching since 2005? I gotta remember, 2005, 2008 for her. We've, as you kind of progress in a martial art, you start to have to go back and kind of teach the younger group. So you get to start to learn at an early age. I've also had the opportunity of being the co-founder and president / head instructor of the Wentworth Institute of Technology's Self-Defense Club. We've done probably 18 seminars since that time between the two of us. So this will be our 19th. Just a few things to kind of point out. Martial arts versus self-defense. What's the difference of it? Well, martial art is basically a lifestyle. You're constantly analyzing, trying to figure out what's going on, how to improve yourself, how to get better. It's a constant interaction of, just kind of like Tom Brady gets on there and he's reviewing tape over and over and over again. You're sitting there trying to say, okay, well, if I did this, this, and this, what if this happened? So you become more of kind of meditating on it in a sense, where as a self-defense is just a basic kind of, hey, look, I'm looking to do three things. I'm looking to avoid if possible. If I can't avoid, then I'm looking to diffuse the situation or de-escalate. Your biggest weapon is your mind. You're able to talk things out and be able to talk somebody down. That's probably your best case scenario. And if you can't, to be able to defend yourself enough just to get away from the situation as much as possible. We do live in a crazy world. There is a lot of things that go on. That's just something we have to acknowledge, and we got to just best prepare ourselves to avoid that. As throughout this thing too, I'll have different kind of little quotes from different martial artists where, it's more of kind of, backing up the fact of, we're not looking to start a fight. We're not looking to be any, we're not looking to cause harm. We're just trying to, get through. Just a few things that we're going to go over, principles. It is very important that people realize that every action has a consequence, whether good or bad. And for example, somebody slapping you does not give you the right to go out and get in a car and hit them with it. Somebody stealing your pen off your desk doesn't give you a right to go ahead and snap their finger. There's legal implications to that, and that's something you want to avoid and you don't want to become an aggressor out of it. You're not out to harm people just because they ticked you off. You're here to learn defense, and when people learn how to defend themselves, it's easy to be tempted to do that. So you got to kind of elaborate self-control. Cobra Kai, I don't know if anybody knows it. It's a great show, great example of people who actually go above and beyond. They take what they learn how to fight, and then next thing you know, they're having high school fights between each other. People are getting hurt. It gets to a ridiculous level where they fight over the dumbest things that could have easily been resolved just by talking things out or just walking away. So I feel like I always go to that as a great example to why you should learn self-defense from somebody who teaches something that is more control in just being able to not want to fight and avoid it as much as possible. There's just a few do's and don'ts that we kind of jotted down to kind of walk you through a typical situation.
So for do's, you do want to draw attention to yourself. Unfortunately, statistically, if you were to yell help, people are not as likely to want to help. But if you yell fire, they're more likely to look, see what's going on and pay attention. You want to try to get the attention of people around you. If you have kids, one thing we have taught our kids, unfortunately, like if someone were to try to approach your kid, if they were to start crying or screaming, like an onlooker would probably think it's just a tantrum, and kids throw tantrums all the time. That's just like a normal thing. So you need to teach them to clearly say, you are not my mom, you are not my dad, grandma, grandpa, because saying that would probably get the attention of someone in the public to be like, okay, like this isn't a tantrum, this person is not the mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. Always look for a safe exit and do everything you can to keep it public. If you're in a Walmart parking lot, if you're at the park, wherever you are, you want to do everything you can to stay in the public area, because again, you want to try to have, increase your odds of someone else seeing to be able to potentially help you. If you're going to a secondary location where there's not as many people, there's less chance of someone being able to help you. So if you're in a Walmart parking lot, do everything you can to try to stay in the parking lot if you were to be approached.
Some of the don'ts of that situation, obviously number one is never take your eye off of whoever's coming after you or your threat or whatever, because the second you lose sight of them, you don't know what they're doing. So you want to keep eyes on them all the time, never give your back to them. You can't defend yourself when you have your back turned. There's just no way. You make yourself completely vulnerable. Another thing to keep in mind is obviously if things start to go the other way and you're now kind of, they're running away from you or they're saying, all right, man, I'm done. You don't chase after them. Never, ever, ever chase after somebody. Not just because they could be leading you elsewhere, but mainly because you are now the aggressor. You see a lot of movies where somebody gets knocked down on the ground, and the first thing somebody does is jump up on top of them and just start wailing on them. Well, that you now became the aggressor, and you now become you're legally at fault for everything that happens. So, the second somebody starts to say, "Hey, look, I'm done. I'm good. I'll go away," you have to stop. You can't chase them. You can't become the aggressor. You can't attack them anymore. If they fall down on the ground, even if they seem like they're still wanting to fight, don't do it. One, because there's multiple reasons. You never want to get on the ground because if he has a buddy around, that buddy's now attacking you, and he's above you, and the other guy's fighting you below. Never really easy to go through. There's usually a buddy around. And just kind of an overall, you don't want to provide any unnecessary information. My uncle was a sergeant of state troopers. He did like this whole cybersecurity stuff. He said the stuff that you run into on a daily basis with some people is they'll sit there and patiently wait and look at what you're doing. They'll analyze what you do on a daily life. You never want to let them know about where you're going. You never want to let them know that your kids are out with you at a park or your kids are not with you there at this event and you're over here across town enjoying a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You don't want to do that because now they're analyzing that information.
And then even like with social media, how you can provide like live story, like wherever you are. Like, so Nathan and I always post after we've left, wherever the location is, because if you have like 1,200 friends, you don't know that they all have necessarily great intentions for you. So if you're on vacation or you're like at a restaurant, or like you said, you're separated from your kids are at school, you are at a coffee shop, like you don't necessarily want to advertise that information. And then these signs, if your kid goes to a school and their teacher is Miss Johnson at Webster Elementary, you don't want to post the picture sharing with 1,200 people that my kid is in second grade at Webster Elementary and their teacher is Miss Johnson. You don't know that all 1,200 of your friends, unfortunately, or like a friend of a friend that can maybe see the post, like have great intentions for you. Or if they have a school uniform and you post a picture on social media, blur out the logo of what school it is. You don't want to provide any unnecessary information. Obviously, your direct family and friends probably already know where your kid goes to school, but you don't need like 1,200 of your friends or friends of friends, depending on your security settings, to know where your kid goes to school, who their teacher is. Like, you don't want to provide any unnecessary information.
So just a few things to kind of go over. Avoid pepper spray areas. This is kind of going back to keeping things public. Pepper spray area is a term that architecture professor of mine coined when we create an area when we're designing a building where you can't necessarily have somebody constantly looking at it. It's not public. It becomes more private and secure. Police can't drive by and see if there's anything going on there. So that area ends up becoming an area with a lot of sketchy activity inside of it. And so you just want to, especially at night, you want to try to avoid going to one of those areas and just avoid that in general so that you're not putting yourself in that situation. You always want to have public around, and that could even mean the buddy system, whether you're walking with a friend. But if you're not walking with a friend,
if you sit down, we can. If you have iPhone, I'm not sure if you can do the same thing with Android, but you can share your location and you can decide for how long, whether it's for a day, it's for 3 days. Let's say for work, you have to attend somewhere that is a pepper spray area, but you don't have a choice. It's for your job, it's a conference, it's a work trip. You can have a couple, like family or friends that you trust, and iPhone actually allows you to share your location live for a day or however long it is. So if that person starts to notice, like, okay, it's like 10:30, they're still not home, they're at this location, that's kind of strange, you're allowing that person to potentially call for help if something doesn't seem right with your location on the app.
So one of the bigger things that you'll always hear in like martial arts movies is to fight without fighting, to win a fight without fighting. That's like the number one goal, because there's always going to be, martial arts is always going to recognize that there's always going to be somebody out there that's bigger and better than you. Somebody that's always going to, so rather than take that risk, we have rather avoid it as much as possible. So the biggest thing is just being able to, avoid it by going through those different things that we mentioned before, but also if you do end up in a situation where somebody's getting a little bit aggressive or violent, that you'd kind of just use, you de-escalate it by using, a choice of words that are better than saying, "Oh yeah, no, I can totally take you," or something like that. You don't want to. You just want to kind of say, "Hey man, look, I'm good. I'm just trying to pass through. You go ahead. You can do your thing. I'm just going to keep on going." Try to avoid as much of a word that would provoke them to start to second guess what you're trying to do. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. One way you do it is like they always tell you inside a retail store, like as a security guard, they'll tell you like, hey, look, you have to command presence. You have to greet people. You have to talk. You have to act confident. As crazy as they may be, you may have to just sit there and just say, hey, look, how's it going? Nice day. You want to be able to just feel like you're comfortable, just like you're kind of greeting yourself with meeting a dog for the first time. A dog is going to be able to sense if you're nervous. You let them smell your hand. Now you can't do that with the human, obviously, but you have to show the dog that you are perfectly comfortable with where you're at. If that dog senses that you're nervous, they're going to become nervous. Same thing with these people. It's all an act for the first part. They're coming in. You got to act tough. They're trying to put themselves out there as like, hey, look, I'm just going to destroy you type thing. You have to show them that you're not fazed by their reaction, and you don't feed into it. You have to remain calm and just kind of command that spot. Most of the times that will help diffuse the situation faster than anything. If it doesn't, then now you're on to your next part here, and this is really, it comes down to when that stuff goes on, you start to shake. You're not scared. You just shake. Your hair stands out. You get goosebumps. We went over it before in another seminar, and it's your fight or flight, your instinct to survive, and that's really. There's actually a fun little exercise I like to do. So I actually asked the birthday boy over here if he'd be interested, and it's one little thing that I actually got volunteered for back when I was. When I went to my Grandmaster's seminar, he called me up in the middle of everybody, and he basically said, there's a little reaction that you do. Now, somebody's not going to just grab my wrist. Somebody's not going to grab your wrist like this out in the street. You're not going to do it. But this here is just more so, you signed the waiver, right? You're good? It's okay. He told me before that if he ends up getting hit, you just don't put ice on it, it'll clear up pretty fast. So, you trust me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a simple thing. He's holding both my wrists. There's always a weak point to a hold. The hold, in this case, is the thumb. So I literally tell you where I'm going to pull out from. So up here, now you're distracted because you saw the fist come up, right? But the most important thing that's happening is not there, it's down here. His hand is immediately trying to grab my wrist.
Yeah.
So no matter what, he knows it's coming out. His hand's trying to grab his wrist or my hand because his brain is telling him, "Oh man, that thing just got away. Gotta grab it." So that's very, your fight or flight's already there. It's already in you, and it's telling you like, "Hey, look, So how do you then use that? Because the first part is nerves. Nerves is gonna kill you right away. It's just, you're freaking out. You're like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. This guy's coming towards me. I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You have to remain calm. You have to breathe. You have to remain calm. You have to remain confident. You know it's coming. You're ready. And we're gonna kind of get into a couple scenarios later where we kind of address that. But when you're out there, people are gonna cheat. They're going to use whatever means possible to attack you. It's just simple, because they're afraid too. So you have to also be ready to use anything, and Jane is going to kind of go into that.
You can sit down.
Sorry.
Sit down. No, sit down.
Over there.
Kids class. So when I've done women's self-defense classes, what I teach is if you have your keys and you're, let's say like it's late, it's dark, you're gonna walk to your car, put your keys between your fingers like that when you're walking to your car, so that if someone were to attack you, you have something to use, because otherwise if I'm walking to my car, I don't necessarily have anything. So you could use your keys. If there's something lying around, obviously you can use that, but you know that you're walking through a pepper spray area, so you're mentally prepared that if someone were to attack you, you have something to use.
Also, just so you know, I put the picture in there. John Wick did it with the book, so. Just another thing, kind of, going back on it, is martial arts and self-defense. It all comes down to body manipulation and knowing how the body's going to react. So your targets are so the main targets that you're always going to use is, eyes, but they're kind of small, so they're hard to reach. You have to be in close, right? You got the nose, which is going to cause somebody to have blurred vision. It's one of the best targets because it's a quick, easy thing. blurs their vision, allows you enough time to get out of there. Another one is the throat. Throat and sternum, those are the two things that you want to be very careful at hitting, because those can end up being fatal and you could end up on the bad side of things. So those are usually those targets that you use if you have to. You want to try to use the nose, and the groin is probably the most common of the two as well. So groin and nose are probably your first two targets. And at the same time, there's also the ears. Now, it's a very uncommon thing because people don't think about it, but the ears, if you cup your hands, the amount of pressure that you cause in your hands, and you come up and you slap somebody in the ears, the suction of it is going to pop the eardrum. Yeah. They'll be deaf, but I mean, at the same time, it's just, it's better than going for the throat.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when I'm in a situation where somebody's going to attack me or they're trying to attack me, in the process, I'm going to think of, I don't really care how bad I hurt them. So whatever object I have, I'm going to hit them wherever.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to necessarily be thinking that the throat and the sternum are the last resort. If I have a knife, I may hit them with a knife.
Yeah.
So am I still liable or anything?
Depends on the situation, and that's where it gets really shaky with the law, because the law will determine it. And when the law takes into court, so say there is you hit somebody with a knife and there's like a fatality, the law will actually investigate it, and they will have to come up with no matter insurmountable amount of doubt that you had a life or death situation. And because if you're just going to get a black eye out of the situation, you're probably going to have legal troubles with, but if the guy was coming at you to really hurt you, you felt endangered for your life, then you would have to argue that to that point. Plus, you never really we're never really out to take life. We're out to just end the situation and get out of there as fast as possible if it comes down to it.
And it depends on like a lot of factors, which obviously, like you said, like in the situation, your goal is to defend yourself. But like, for example, I'll give one example, and then at the end when we do questions, we can answer more. Like in the hospital, I work the psych unit. So one of the things that we were taught is like, let's say I'm in the room to help the patient with something, and somehow, whatever happens, the patient backs me up into a wall, and I'm here, and the patient's here. At that point, legally in the hospital, I can do whatever I want to do, because legally I could argue all I wanted to do was to run, but he is blocking my path physically. I cannot move if I'm backed against a wall and the patient is right here in my face. At that point, I have more leeway to hit wherever I want, to do whatever I can to get out. But for example, let's say Nathan's the patient, this is the door, and I came in. And then let's say like this, I feel threatened, so I do something to defend myself. Legally, at that point, I don't have as much leeway, because they're going to say, well, you were right by the door. You could have ran if you really wanted to. So there's like a lot of legal implications depending on the exact position you were in, exact position the attacker was in, where was the door, could you have run? There's like so many, but obviously in the heat of the moment, you're probably just thinking to defend yourself. But like that, like they taught us that if I walked into the patient's room, like this is the door, and he could do something that makes me feel threatened. Just because I'm by the door doesn't mean he doesn't have anything to threaten me, right? But legally I don't have as much leeway, because no matter what I say, he pulled this out, he pulled that out, I was scared. Legally at that point, they're going to argue, well, you could have just turned around and ran. But if I'm backed up against a wall and they're standing in front of me and I don't have the ability to run, then at that point, so there's like a lot of at that point, it really depends on this. It's like case by case.
Does that answer?
Oh yeah.
So it's just another thing to keep in mind too with the body. The body reacts to pain. So if you get punched in the nose, your hands are coming up here. You get poked in the eyes, your hands are coming up here. You get hit in the groin, your hands going down. You get hit in the sternum, your hands going down. Your body is going to react to the pain. So that you can use to your advantage, because you know where your hand, if you get a shot in at the nose, you know your attacker's hands are going to go up here, because his body's instant, no matter how tough he is. That's why, there's just, there was I forget what it was, a boxer just said, hey, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson says, hey, you know, you never know how tough a man is until he gets punched in the face. Like, you act tough, but the second you get hit in the nose, you turn into a little baby for a second. And, you know, like I said, it's just essential to how you defend yourself. This is not working. Here we go. So, just moving on, but this is actually a quote from our Grandmaster. I threw it on here. And so it says, the true test of a martial artist is not how much force he exerts or musters, but how much control he can exert. Like I said before, as soon as you start to know that you can defend yourself, it is very hard to actually hold back from that. And that's the type of thing you want to try to get mastered more so, is because you can run into a situation like that and your first instinct is going to be like, I'm going to pop this guy in the face and run. But he may just be coming up and hand you something, you know, so you never know. You have to be able to control it and exert it, and you could be picked on, and you know, words are not going to be legally allowed for you. Somebody saying stuff to you, if you turn around and hit them, you're 100% the aggressor, because words don't hold up in court like that. You know, it's not an attack on you. It's a verbal attack, but it's not an attack that puts you in a life or death situation. Just some basic, but also to kind of go into how important this is, stances and movement. Stances play a huge role because, one, it's your base. If I'm like this, I can easily get pushed over. If I'm like this, I can get pulled down. So it comes down to a point of where you are positioning yourself. So the stance is always your base. You know, if I don't have a good base, I'm not going to have good power. I'm not going to have the ability to resist whatever that person's throwing at me. Also, stances are great in the sense of taking away your opponent's weapons. It's simple. All it is a simple step. And what it comes down to is, like, say I'm grabbing her and she's coming up. Now if she steps here, she's not locking my leg, right? So I can kick right to the groin. I got access to this weapon here, right? But if she steps all the way in and takes out that leg, she can even go right behind my ankle. And now if I'm like this, I can't move this leg. So she's taking that weapon out. I can barely hit her. I have lanky arms, so I can kind of hit her. But I can't really get a shot off with my other arm. She's got this arm here. She's completely disarmed me. Now if she takes this and pushes back, well, now I can't see. And if I was to try to go up on this leg, all she has to do is lean in on that leg. And that leg is snapping like a twig. I am destroying the MCL, ACL, everything, completely dislocated. I'll be a Nicholas Chubb. So all it takes is a simple step, and that's over. So stances play a huge role, not just in being able to stand up and hold yourself, but also eliminating the threat. Now we're going to go through basic strikes and blocks. You know, you got your, I'll take it off before you do it. Basic strikes and blocks. You know, you got your punch. Everybody knows a punch. But what most people don't know is there's two different types of punches that are commonly used. And when I say that, if you use the horizontal punch, you're using a horizontal punch to the face. You're going to get a horizontal punch to the face. You're not going to get much vertical. Horizontal, you got a bigger target there. You can take out the nose. But if you were to use if you were punching to the body, if you did a horizontal punch to the body, there's a lot of meat here in the body. So you're going to end up punching and breaking your wrist. There's a good chance. So what do you do to fix that? Turn it. So you turn it, you have more rigidity back here when you punch to the body. So a punch to the sternum, whenever you see a punch to the sternum in the movie, they're coming down like that. They're not coming down like this. Same thing, when you're punching a bag and stuff like that, it's good to practice the vertical punches just to get that feel of it. Now, another thing too is basic blocks. Now in karate, you're going to learn your upper block, your inward block, your outward block, your downward block side. You push down. Push down, you're going to do a knee. Nobody's going to be kneeing you. Nobody's really going to be kicking you because you're not going to run into a trained martial artist. A trained martial artist is never going to seek a fight, usually. And you're mainly stuck. You're not really going to run into upper blocks because you're not really going to run into, if somebody's swinging a bat at you, I'm running. I'm not taking a chance, I'm running. So you're really going to run into the inward and outward, and that's your punches. People are throwing punches at you. So when it comes down to it, there's very limited amount that you really need to kind of focus on because those are the most common. We're going to kind of go over scenarios with that today, but I'm just going to give you a basic idea, or Jane's going to give you a basic idea. I'm going to take this off so it doesn't break. All right. So first punch, there's always going to be two punches, right? So she did a fancy little parry and an inward block. But if I do it faster, and she's really going to hit me this time, so don't attempt this at home, because the first strike is a rib breaker.
Oh boy.
So, but that's the type of thing, when you hit, the strike dictates where the body's going. Actually, I'm just going to quickly show them. So that first strike too, watch her footwork. When she slides in that first strike, the other one, the big one, the rib breaker. So she slides in, she's checking my knee, right? When she goes to switch to the other strike, this is called stance change. She's checking my knee again. I am completely immobile. I can't do anything. Most of these are fight enders anyway. Each one of these is to a specific point. One can go to the kidney. This one right now, she's going up to my shoulder. She could snap the arm that way. The first one went to the ribs or the sternum. The final one that she hits me with when she comes over and hits me again is right to the back of the brainstem. So, but each hit, she's generating her power from changing her stance. And she's also generating her power from gravity as well. She's using gravity, she's using, it's called marriage of gravity, it's called torque, and it's stance change. So I'm just getting this on. So we're just going to quickly go through a couple of scenarios. So first scenario, you're out in the street, and you guys can pair up and try this too. Somebody's grabbing your arm. You're trying to get away. They grab to pull you back. Other scenarios too with this is they could be grabbing your phone, your bag, or your backpack. In which case, Jane, you want to kind of go over what you do with that?
So if it's obvious that all the person wants is your purse or your wallet, I know it sucks, but if I was in a dangerous situation and all they want is a purse or wallet, they couldn't care less for me, I would throw the purse or wallet far away from me and I would run the opposite direction. It sucks, it's going to be a lot of paperwork, but you are more valuable than your purse, the contents of your wallet. Everything in the purse is replaceable. You are not replaceable. So I would throw it as far away from me and I would run the opposite direction at that point. It's only if they were grabbing my arm or trying to do something to me that I would actually try to fight back. If it's just my purse, I would throw it away from me.
So another thing too is when they're grabbing your arm, they're not going to just sit there and they're going to be pulling you. They're not going to sit there. She's not going to sit there and let me just do stuff. Like I'm not going to be able to just come up and do it. She's not going to sit there and do that. She's going to pull me away, right? The biggest surprise you got to somebody who's attacking you like that is they're not expecting you to go with them. They're expecting you to fight back, right? So now you have a split second where you can easily go, as she's pulling me in, I can come in right here and lock her in. So here, all I did, no strength at all. I just use this point. This is what they call a fulcrum. So here, I just use this point. I got her leg locked. and simple like that. I could sweep her leg if I wanted to, knock her over. I could push down and snap the arm up, dislocating the shoulder. I can literally come here and throw a knee if I wanted to. I could do anything from that point. And it's just a simple pull away. Second that you start doing this to somebody, they're like, yeah, no, I'm good. But if they still fight back, you have a way to end it. The best way to end a fight, put them on the ground. Because it's going to take them time to get up so you can run. So the first thing I would do is, going back to Karate Kid, sweep the leg. You have that, you come over, right up. So if you guys want to practice that, you can.
That was so fast.
Yeah, no, I'll slow down.
Yeah, we need step by step.
So all I'm doing,
Got it?
the most important part that I'm doing here,
Somebody be my partner? Don't worry, you'll probably.
I think I was.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
the most important part that I'm doing here
Okay, hold on. What position are you? You're okay.
is
Be aggressive.
Aggressive, okay.
yeah. So here, you're gonna counter grab.
Oh.
You can't get away. You already feel just from that you can roll them over, right? But then you're gonna, because she's pulling you, you're gonna step up. So you're gonna step. So no, left leg. So it's, you're here. You're gonna want to get to her outside.
First, I gotta turn your arm first. That's the first step.
Yeah. Well, you're grabbing. You're grabbing.
Okay, now I'm turning this, and
Yeah.
then at the same
Because the reason why you don't step up with your right is because now you're on the inside.
time. Yeah.
You step up the inside,
Yeah.
she's got a clear shot of my groin.
Okay, so my
I want to
left
go to
leg
her
is going-
outside.
My left leg is
So
going-
left leg comes up. Yeah, left leg comes up. The reason why is because if you step up with the right, you're stepping up into her inside, which is now putting you at risk. Yeah, so you get up behind them, and now all you have to do is take this right here, right on the shoulder and elbow, armpit area, and roll. So right here, you're gonna stick your arm right here, and you're just gonna go up, and your motion is gonna be up and roll. Use your elbow. Bend your elbow up. Here. There you go. So you're gonna push up, and down. There you go.
Let's do the 3-step process. Okay.
So
Okay. One. Hold on. What am I saying?
And they have to pull her.
Okay. Wait a minute. I have to think this
I'll
through,
do it to you
okay?
now.
1, 2.
The elbow.
Good, you get aggressive.
Elbow, left elbow, left elbow.
left
Left
elbow.
elbow. Yeah.
Pregnant lady, you can take it
So
Process in my mind.
another thing, once you have them in that,
2.
hold on. Hey, just come right up. So when you do it, you counter it, you're gonna come up like this, up like that. He feels it because he's resistant, and then you roll him over.
Oh, okay. So he goes like
So he's pulling you. You're gonna counter grab. So it doesn't matter. You can go this way, or
You have
so-
to do it to somebody who's bigger than you. Like,
yeah.
do it to,
Then you're
because
gonna
usually
step
they're
up.
bigger than
And you want to put your
Yeah,
foot
that's
right
So I
here.
gotta really practice on somebody bigger than me.
Because on
Up. Yeah. Now roll.
oh,
There you go.
okay, so like, hold on.
Don't resist. You have to.
Let's do it together.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay, hold on.
So I'm pulling. Yep.
1, 2.
2.
Now other.
Now up. You want to push up. So you get right here and push
Oh,
up.
I'm putting my elbow up here.
Up and roll. Yeah.
Elbow beneath the armpit.
Yeah.
Someone bigger than
Yeah. So she. If I was to do it, she could put me on the ground easily, several different ways. So here, she can literally right from this point just shove down, and I'm gonna go.
or you could sweep the leg. You
Yeah.
could do a lot of stuff once you have them in
Because
that
the
position.
concept of fulcrum is you get complete control. So here, you could do this one here, and you can walk them down,
Grab this hand.
right? All it is you're using that nerve. You're using that nerve, and you're pushing them down. Now here, I could just drag her out and slam her down to the ground face first. She won't be able to catch herself because I got her hand. Like I said, that if you could put them on the ground, you finish the fight fast. Another scenario, you're cornered. Kind of what Jenny was talking about, with back against the wall. Very common thing you'd see in movie theaters or movies where you have the bully coming up. He's like, I'm going to get you this time. Well, it's very simple what you do. Looking for a blank wall. So they're coming up. Now this one here is very similar. They're coming to punch you, right? This one's a little bit more high rank type thing, but I'm just going to do dumb down. So here, the most important thing is stepping out of the way. You're going to step off at an angle, because if I step up into the punch, I'm getting hit. So I'm catching off this side here. Your same exact thing that you just did with rolling them over, you're going to do that to throw them into the wall. And you're not going to have to use an ounce of strength, because you're using their backup mass. You're using their force, their punches force against them. So it's all going to be.
This way so everyone can see you.
It's just not much of a wall to throw her into there. You're gonna take that so you don't trip and actually hurt yourself. So she's coming in here. I'm throwing her into the wall. So once you do that, if you're here, you throw her into the wall, I can come right in and hit with another elbow. Now the reason why is because when somebody hits a wall or a hard surface, they bounce off. So if you're falling right in with the elbow, it's right there. It's all right there. You throw them in, come in with the elbow too. So now they're bouncing off and you're hitting them back into it again.
And kind of like the other one, they're not expecting you to go along with them. Kind of like the wrist, how you're going along with their motion. They're probably not expecting you to go along with their motion. They're probably expecting you to, like, you know, fight or flight, like freak out, just stay there. They're not expecting you to work with their punch or like with the wrist, work with their movement. They're expecting you to resist.
So it's also more along the lines that, you know, if you have an area of hard surfaces, that's actually a martial artist's favorite thing. There's a show, Bird Notice, it's like a spy thing where he said, you know, the best place to fight somebody is in a bathroom because there's plenty of hard surfaces and everything's slippery, so you don't have to do much. It's true. But basically, you're cornering the thing, there's always a way out, because the second she comes in and throws that, right, and I'm throwing her this way, I can just run. I'm off. I'm not even thinking about it.
Grab or like
well,
because
the problem is that it's a good question. You could just do this where you just kind of push them out of the way, but now you have your back to her. At the same time, you know, you just literally gave her her weapon back. And there is a chance that you're going to miss that grab. It happens. There's always what ifs. So it's more so just thinking about the same process. You had this here, you're throwing them into the wall, but you had their hand, so they're not going to be able to break that impact.
So you keep their hand,
Yeah, and you're taking away the weapon. But say that happens, and I'm just going that way. It's okay to just try to slap it away if you can. You know, let's just consider a parry. But if somebody's coming in, I could also come with a knee too. And, you know, I held that back because I didn't want to get you with it. But yeah, no. So the simple thing is best thing to do, get out of the way. The most important part of that scenario is just opening up your exit. She's coming in to punch you. You're just trying to, you can run. You don't even have to think about what you're going to do. Most important thing is you see that open tunnel and you're going for it. I don't know if any of you guys want to try that one.
This one, there's not much wall space, so
maybe. I know, so maybe one at a time. It's up to you guys. What?
We can do the next one.
You guys don't want to do it?
We can.
Yeah, they want to try it. Let them try.
There's walls there. Yeah.
I mean, you can also do it right here too, so you don't actually
Just
throw somebody
pretend it's
into
a
the wall.
Me and you? Okay. I didn't catch this one. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to
So it's very similar to what you did with the first one. You're coming in.
Not that.
So this one, you're just going to kind of pocket his punch. So if he's coming in, he's coming in, you're going to pocket that. It's the same thing. You're using that, you're throwing him into the wall.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Good job.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well. Oh, so you have it faster. Good job. Now I'm going to come closer to your face.
Oh.
Good job.
But I'm still close to him. I need to get him away, right?
You can. It's really you want to step out.
Right.
So instead of stepping up, because you can still step up and catch that. Like you still, if he's throwing it, you can still step up and catch it. But now you have to wrestle because he has this here, and I don't have the fulcrum too easily. But if I'm stepping out at a 45-degree angle, now I have everything to work with, and you just basically slingshot him.
Switching it up.
There
You gotta be ready.
He punches and I'm grabbing him.
You're stepping up left leg.
Oh, wait,
Same
so-
thing. Same thing as before. Yeah.
Vivian was saying you need
'cause
to be regularly attacked.
The
so
important
you
part
can
is stepping up with the left leg. What's that? Yeah.
And I just
Well,
push him. Like
Yeah.
that.
So the most important part, and like I was just showing them there, the most important part is when you're stepping up here,
You guys want to do it?
you don't want to step
happy
up
to
into
teach
them,
it,
right?
Yeah.
You want to step away.
5 days, not 5 days.
You're
ago, but
you're
I
gonna
did it
stretch
like
this arm out as much as you can.
3 weeks, so
Oh,
it's like
okay.
6.
So he's coming in.
And it's just
I'm stepping away.
Oh,
That
okay.
if I'm stepping away, now I've stretched him out. I can just do that.
I would
Oh,
love to do
okay.
that. Hopefully during
Okay, so
school
now
hours.
you
That
check.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
What's that?
She was saying we should do a regular self-defense.
I'm fine with that.
thing.
I mean, like I said, we're condensing everything we can into 1 hour when
It's
it's
the
usually
shortest
2-3
one we've
hours,
ever
or we
done.
kind of break
Usually it's like
everything
2,
down a
3
little
hours,
bit more.
which gives
So-
us plenty of time to.
Now, this is a very common scenario. They're from behind. You can't see them coming. You're surprised. You're caught off guard. You're scared. Your adrenaline's going crazy. You didn't even try the last one. You want to try the last one? Okay. And you can't see them coming. Now, you don't know where their targets are. You can only guess where they are. You don't know how far back this person is, whether they're up close, unless they're up close, holding you close and trying to keep you from, and bring you back. It could be several different scenarios where this person can be here, and now, I got to reach back to him. He's going to see me coming, most likely. So what's going on with that? Or they could be here, and they're pulling you back, right? They could potentially also, they could also be kind of choking you too. So there's several different scenarios where you come with behind is a very scary thing. But we're going to start off with probably the most common. They're trying to pull you away. So what you do is you're off base now, right? So the most important part is to get your base. So the first thing you're going to want to do, instead of going with them, you're going to want to step out. And that's because you're interrupting the motion. So here, you're pulling back, she steps out. Now she hits me in the sternum, right? Now she got me in the sternum. She can hit me in the groin. That brings my head down, obviously, because I'm bending. And she's got a nice shot up top, right? Goes right up with that elbow. Let's do it over here so they can see. So here, steps out, hits, down, up. Yeah. Elbow.
Because he already came down because he was just hit twice. So naturally his body wants to come forward, and then you can elbow the chin at that point.
And so now you're actually making their body play with your height and and you're not even having to throw much power into it. So you don't need a muscle mass behind it. You're hitting their weak points. You got them in the sternum that stops them because it knocks the wind out of you.
This is the one that we all need to perfect because it's usually
Yeah.
I think my nice common one. We gotta practice that one.
I'm always scared
So
of
to the
that.
side,
Yeah, go practice.
So yeah.
Tummy.
elbow to, wait a minute.
So-
Your under identifier. And then
You wanna when you hear, it's like you're doing cha-cha slide or whatever.
wait a minute.
Right foot, left side. Right foot, right side.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right, okay?
Yeah. So you step out, hit.
Okay.
And that
Elbow
you
to
just,
sternum.
it's just like a little wing elbow right there. Yeah.
Sternum, and
Now,
then you're gonna
groin.
fall down, and then boom, and then
Well, you do groin,
oh, groin.
Yep.
and
And
then
then elbow.
No,
up,
just right from here.
like this. Your elbow.
Now just pop it up like a chicken
It's
wing
right
it.
there.
Chicken wing it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's a chicken wing. You come in here, and it's like you chicken wing it. Yeah. Trust me, when we're practicing that technique inside the school, 99% of the time, every single day, somebody's getting cracked right here. Because they're not ready for it. It's literally an immediate reaction. You hit boom, boom, and this one right here, you can't see it. It's called an obscure elbow. This is also called an obscure elbow because they can't see it coming. So it's something that just comes out, you hit them with it. Then the groin, that's an obscure elbow because they can't see it coming. They're bending down, they're not even paying attention, it's going right up and it's not taking their jaw out. That will put them on the ground, you can run. Just easy as that. But one thing to keep in mind, what if I see that elbow coming? She hits me with this, but I'm like, I grab her wrist now. Well, now she's got to get me out of that situation, right? She's got to get me out of it. So I go, listen, oh, no, you're not doing that. Well, now she's got to kind of step forward, or she's got my arm in a nice place right now. Why? She rolls it over,
I can.
compound fracture right through. So I stopped her.
Do that. That sounds like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna twist it and then snap
I
it.
stopped her. She stepped out, right?
I'm gonna execute this one.
Now,
I can break it over my shoulder.
just right now, just that little bit, I'm kind of like, I feel that tension. Now, if you just threw your whole body weight into it and boom, like that, there's no stopping that. There's another situation where, she's, what if she's go ahead, she grabs, she steps out, hits, and she goes for the groin, but she misses the shot, hits my thigh, right? Well, now I see this coming, and she can easily, good, 7-zip.
Like that, and sweep the leg.
I wanted you to actually throw me down, but show a little bit like. So this, I already lose my balance, right? So here, she misses the groin shot. Well, what is she? So all that took was what we call a 7-step. You're just drawing a 7 to the ground. So now I'm getting behind them. So when you hear and somebody's there and you need to get behind them, I'm right here.
And you can sweep the leg from there.
Yep.
And all of these, like we were talking about before it started, like someone who attacks you is probably going to be a lot bigger than you. All of the ones that we showed today work in that scenario. Like Nathan's a foot taller than me and I was able to sweep him. It doesn't matter if they're like a foot taller than you. It's like the fulcrum and such. You can do it on an attacker that's significantly taller than you and it should still work. All the ones that we showed today.
I think what's the most important is to be confident. When you're confident in yourself, then that you get that adrenaline. Otherwise, you're like, wait, what's step 3? Stop for a minute. Let me remember what was step 1. The second method. I missed. What do I do now?
And the most important thing is just practice it. Practice it at home.
Yeah.
You just think about how the body's going to react, and how you can use what little steps you could take to manipulate somebody twice your size into like completely collapsing. Now, stance is a huge thing. It's a huge thing. Wherever you play, your foot placement is going to play a huge role in anything. I've had at least several students come by and tell me like, "Wow, it actually worked!" Like they come up, they literally knock somebody to the ground without even having to really push at all. They just tripped them because they got their foot right behind the other one, and went right down. So it doesn't take a lot of strength. You're using their weight, their power. you're using the force, like whether it's marriage of gravity, or which is, you know, just simple use of gravity, something coming down. Like if I'm up here and my target's down here and I drive down, it's going to be much more powerful coming down this way than it's just be like, if I'm up here, I'm coming down. Backup mass. Somebody's charging at you. Same thing. Somebody's charging at you, throw them into the wall. You're using their momentum to just throw them right into the target. So that's just, they're very basic moves. And we're kind of leave whatever, there's not really time left, but if anyone has any questions or other examples that they might want to explore.
Yeah, any specific questions about like a certain type of...
This is in addition to, you know, would you suggest that, you know, the women who carry like pepper spray or mace?
Slow. I mean, by the time you find it in your purse,
Well, it's more so carrying it. If you're in an area where you don't feel safe, you want it in your hand. You don't want to go digging through your purse for it. If you feel like you're going out late at night and you're trying to get to your car and you're just not unsure, like you're going through the Ross parking lot or something like that, have it in your hand before you leave the store.
And it's also like controversial. What I've heard about like carrying pepper spray as opposed to like a Kubotan is good. Kubotan, you could even get a keychain where it's like on your keys. It's
a metal rod. Now they make them flat surface. They make them kind of with a point, but not like a sharp point. It's a dull point. You can, yes.
Yeah, so
exactly.
if you were to like drive into a lake, it's what you can use. But they sell, like I used to have a small one that you can put on your keys. The reason why
it's like
I've
$10
heard,
too.
Yeah, it's very cheap. The pepper spray, if you don't know how to use it, like praise God if you've never had to use it. I've seen it happen where they sprayed in a way that they were also sprayed.
Yeah, the wind
because
blew
in the
back at them.
chaos of someone grabbing you, like you know what I mean? Like what if they grabbed your arm and then you were spraying and then you were also sprayed in the face and then now you can't even see. So that's why like personally I used to carry a pepper spray, but then I switched to right now I don't have anything.
I got you
now.
the Kubotan.
Yeah, but then the Kubotan, if they were to like, let's say I'm walking in a parking lot, if someone was to attack me, it would be in close quarters. So the Kubotan, you can just like hit them with it and run.
So what is it?
It's like a metal rod. If you look it up, you could Google it, it'll pull it up. It's like a little metal rod, but it's made in a sense too. The round pointy edge is made in the sense that it actually hits the nerves and causes the nerves to cramp up. So yeah,
pepper spray is not a bad idea. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of cases that, you know, obviously most of us aren't using it every single day. It's not like we necessarily have a lot of experience with it. So in the heat of the moment, if they grab your wrist, you could accidentally spray yourself too, and then you're even worse than without the pepper spray.
What's the other one? Mace?
Mace, pepper spray,
is much
same
stronger.
thing.
You could also be choking on mace too.
Yeah, so you could accidentally do it too, because a lot of them spray pretty wide depending on what brand and all that. Like I used to carry it too, but it's just something to be mindful of is like because we're not necessarily using it all the time, you could accidentally spray yourself. Whereas a Kubotan, if someone was to attack me in a parking lot, they're probably going to be pretty close to me, so I can just hit them with it and run.
And the effects of mace last for days. Because I worked at Ross out here in Pasadena for a bit, and somebody bear maced the store, and I didn't necessarily get shot directly. It kind of got on me a little bit, but the guy had like a mace gun and he was discharging in the store. Everyone in that store at that time was coughing. Everyone in that store at that time had a splitting headache. And one person in the store had chest pain and they had to be seen by the paramedics. The lingering effects is your eyes do burn no matter what. Like if you got it on your clothes and stuff like that, you can't wash those clothes off because it's like an oil with cayenne pepper flakes in it, and it just sticks. And so when you wash it, it just spreads it to all your other clothes. So basically, once you get hit with it, your shirt's done. And the other thing too is the lingering effects to it is your eyes can burn for up to 3 to 4 days. You can have a headache for about 3 to 4 days depending on how bad you got it. And you know, I've heard people have like had sore throats for the next week or so. So it's not necessarily a fun thing to carry around. It is horrible to hit somebody with. It is effective, but it could backfire on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that, like, say you don't have a Kubaton, like, if you're carrying your keys, can this work too? Like,
Yeah, so earlier on in the thing, I showed like when I'm walking in a dark parking lot, I put my key, and I don't do only one, like I do all like however many keys you have. However many you have, like between all your fingers, so that if someone were to attack you, you can, like, you have something to hit with, and then you can run. Like, the goal isn't to fight. The goal is just to be able to, like, defend yourself and run. So either a Kubaton, or if you don't have a Kubaton, like, you know, I do it with my key. I have a lot of keys, so I have enough for, like, my hand, not just one, but all the fingers. So you're ready if you're in a pepper spray area. Yeah.
She used to walk her car at Azusa like that all the time.
Yeah, I had a lab that would end at like 10:30, and the area was like not a great area. So yeah.
I would do the same. I used to do that, but now
Wolverine.
yeah, I'm like, what's that character? The Wolverine. Oh, I have another question.
Sure.
Do you find, because you know, like you may be walking down the street and you see someone, is there ever like typical behavior that like you can look for in a person that's like,
Exactly. No,
That's a good question.
they look like they might want to attack me kind of thing?
Yeah. So actually, you know, working at Ross, being a security guard there, that's actually I had like a 3-step method about how to identify somebody like that. First and foremost, the first red flag that I throw up on somebody is how they approach the store. So whenever they were walking, if they were walking in a belligerent way, if their behavior was wrong, if they seemed kind of hostile, if they're like yelling at something, or if they just come there with an angry face, so that's red flag number one. You know, more likely in the street, you don't want to say, "Hey, how's it going?" because you don't want to draw attention to yourself. You want to just keep going, and hopefully they aren't paying attention to you. In the store, I would say, "Hey, how's it going? Welcome, Ross. Have a nice day." And I would judge by how they interacted with me to determine if they're a problem. Out in the street, you don't necessarily want to do that because, again, the less attention you draw to yourself, the more chance you're getting away without a problem. But if they do draw attention to you, they are, you know, you just kind of be dismissive and still sit there confident, like, you know, hey, look, you know, I just I'm just going to go here. You leave me alone. Like, I don't want to, you know, get involved in anything. I don't want to talk. I don't have time. You know, just kind of dismiss it and move on. That's the best case scenario.
And then also, like, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but they say, like, a lot of times if someone is looking for someone to attack, like, they look, basically, if you appear confident, even if you don't feel confident, if you appear confident, you're much less likely to be attacked. Because, like, a lot of times, like, what are we doing? And, I mean, I think we all fall into the trap, like, when we're walking to our car, like, you know, we're, like, looking on our phone or whatever, and we're not necessarily, like, alert to our I do it too, or like we have headphones or whatever, we're not necessarily paying attention to our surroundings. Statistically, the people that don't, like, they've questioned people who have attacked people on the street, like, after the fact, like, what were you looking for in someone that, you know, if you were looking to attack someone who is, like, alert, who of their surroundings, you know, like, shoulders back, they're less likely to attack. They're looking for an easy target. They don't want to fight. They want it to be, like, really easy. If you're alert, oriented, you appear confident. Even if you don't feel confident, you can, like, kind of fake it, like, you know, shoulders back. Don't be on your phone. Don't be distracted. Even if you have AirPods in, don't have music or anything so you can actually hear around you. If you appear confident, they're much less likely to attack. Like, whereas if you're, like, on your phone, you're listening to, like, loud music, you know, they know that you're probably not even going to hear them coming, if that makes sense.
I've also heard that it's good to have eye contact with the person.
Yeah. Because it gives them the idea that you're confident. Even if you don't feel confident, you don't have to say, hi, how are you? Like, good morning, or like, you don't have to say anything. But if you make eye contact, that's giving off the notion that you're confident, even if you don't feel it. You're faking it, and it kind of sends them the message that you are confident. You saw them. If something were to happen after, you could identify them, you could describe them. But if you haven't made eye contact, you're on your phone, you were listening to music, you didn't even hear them, like, you're a much easier target at that point.
And just make eye contact and smile. Because if they see you looking angry at them, they're going to be like, okay, this guy wants to go. He's sizing me up. You make eye contact, just smile, kind of like a little smirk, and you move on. The other thing, too, is like whenever I found, like when I was in Ross, you're looking at people down. If that person comes in and they want to do something, the thing that's psyching them up the most is being, people aren't necessarily paying attention. They think they're going in covertly. And, so they come in, but the second you maintain that eye contact with them, it kind of messes them. You see them kind of go like this, and just like, because it destroyed the psyche that they had that, hey, look, I'm going to come in here and do this. Oh, wow, that guy's paying attention to me now. I don't know if I can. And it causes problems. And we've literally heard people chattering, because we had people following other them around. We would hear them chatter like, they're onto us. Like, it throws them off. And if you could throw them off, now they're playing your game.
And also, like, like I said, you would be able to describe them like after the fact to the cops or whatever, because they know you made eye contact. Whereas like if they're planning, like, you're on your phone with loud music and they come behind you, you probably won't even be able to describe them because you probably only saw them for a split second. But if you made eye contact, you appear confident, they're much less likely to do anything because they know you know what they look like, you appear confident to them.
I know we're running out of time because I see you looking at the phone. I just wanted to mention one last thing too. I think it's important, is people haven't asked about multiple attackers. So there's always a buddy and stuff like that. But at one point on a late show, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or something like that, they had Chuck Norris on there. They said, hey man, you're a martial artist. You like take all these guys out in the movie and stuff like that. What would you do if like 5 guys came up and attacked you? He said, I'm running. What do you mean? You could take them. No, I'm not. I'm running. He's like, 5 guys? No. There's one of me? No. I don't like those odds. I'm out. I'm running. 2 guys? Maybe. 1 guy? I prefer it. 2 guys? Maybe. Anything more than 2? I'm hitting the road. And it's just a smart thing. You have 2 arms and 1 leg, and you're also at that point you're giving up balance. If they already have you, the best thing, I could get into a whole nother thing about that maybe another time, but the biggest thing is crowd separation. I mean, I would say the closest to probably the most accurate movie when it comes to multiple attackers is like the John Wick movies or anything with Michael J. White, because they pay attention, the choreography of it actually pays attention to people coming at once.
It's
if you
much
watch
more
them,
realistic, their choreography, compared to like some other stuff that's like, that's not very
it's not like one-on-one. They're all coming at them at the same time. So the only thing they can do is just try to push them into each other, get them separated, and take them on one by one. That's really the only chance you have of getting out of there. I was attacked at one point in college by 5 different people. I took out 3 of them and I ran. And that's really, it came to me throwing somebody into somebody else to buy me enough time to take on another guy to get out of there. Second I saw a window of opportunity, I was out. I was gone. Wow. So